just
Congresswoman Marcia Fudge for hosting us.
Deal.
All right. This goes on for 2 minutes, and Tim Kaine,
he just sits
look
there.
at him. He's just sitting back there going,
Grab the mic.
Anyway, I was playing Parcheesi last night with my kids.
Yeah.
And it just kept, all right, let's get off of that.
Get off. She's awesome.
So there's a conspiracy
Not
theory.
sick.
Guess what? So there's a conspiracy
Not
theory.
sick.
Guess what?
Congresswoman Marcia Fudge for hosting us.
Deal.
All right. This goes on for 2 minutes, and Tim Kaine,
he just sits
look
there.
at him. He's just sitting back there going,
Grab the mic.
Anyway, I was playing Parcheesi last night with my kids.
Yeah.
And it just kept, all right, let's get off of that.
Get off. She's awesome.
So there's a conspiracy
Not
theory.
sick.
Guess what?
And he has got some water.
Think you'll be alive this weekend?
Excuse me. Did you just try to kiss?
In the administration, we assume he won't be. You know this.
Sorry.
You need some water, madam?
Well, you know what? I won't hold you on here any longer because you probably could use some water.
Boy, we have 63 days to go.
And he has, made it clear that he doesn't particularly care whether Putin and the intelligence services attack American institutions. So, get some water. Yep. Thank you. Thanks. Excuse me. I'll be right back.
Well, that was Hillary Clinton, her press conference there aboard her new campaign plane, interrupted by a coughing fit, the second coughing fit that she's had today. This press
in every way, and I was very proud of him.
Did you talk about vice presidential possibilities with Senator Warren?
You guys have got to try the cold chai.
I've had it.
In every way.
And how did you talk about Senator Warren? Did you talk about vice presidential possibilities with Senator Warren?
You guys have got to try the cold chai.
I've had it.
It was great. I mean, it was a wonderful, meaningful endorsement in every way, and I was very proud of him.
Did you talk about vice presidential possibilities with Senator Warren?
You guys have got to try the cold chai.
I've had it.
I'll play you the clip of him saying it himself in just a second. Dr. Drew, known as America's most trusted physician, admits that Hillary Clinton has brain damage, and after reviewing what medical records of hers have been released, he is gravely concerned. Have a listen.
There are two other things that gravely concerned us. When she hit her head, she had to wear these prism glasses when she came out.
Right.
That is brain damage, and it's affecting her balance. That's profound. And then number two, when they screened her for heart disease, again, they did an old-fashioned screen. It just seems like she's getting care from somebody that she met in Arkansas when she was a kid. And you got to wonder.
She's been photographed and videotaped numerous times, showing that she has a hard time standing up and keeping her balance, and even sitting up straight during an interview, having to be propped up with some pillows. But the mainstream media is calling it a conspiracy theory that she has any issues with her health. The New York Post claims that Donald Trump attempts to derail Clinton with a health conspiracy. U.S. News and World Report says Hillary's health conspiracy or concern. Here now on Wednesday, she's taken the rest of the week off to rest. No more events until Sunday. Hillary released some of her medical records, but many are concerned that she kept others hidden, just like those emails that she just, forgot to release and deleted and had scrubbed from her server. And we all know the lies and the cover-up and the fraud involved with those. Now Hillary is hiding the fact about her health, a legitimate concern for someone who wants to be the president of the United States. Liberals are claiming that it's unfair to be questioning her health, while
Dr. Drew joins us right now. Good morning, doctor. How are you?
Good morning, sir. I'm great.
Thanks for being with us. And is Hillary okay? I wanted to talk to you about this because there's been a whole bunch of stories. Of course, we know Mrs. Clinton had some kind of a health issue a year or so back, a couple years ago, when she had a fall. And she is rumored to have these balance issues, and this photograph showed up of her being helped up the steps after slipping on a stair. Now it turns out that picture actually is from February. Hannity inexplicably spent an entire week, trying to analyze her health from still photos.
Hannity?
Yeah, and innuendo. But I wanted to get your take on this because, is it fair for us to be making health evaluations based on images that we see on the media? Because, if a camera was on me, I trip and stumble all the time.
Me too.
Yeah, I'm very concerned about people, journalists and people with no medical training, even discussing this issue. They need to bring physicians in. And there's not a lot we can tell from visual images, unless we see, major neurological changes or a rash or something. But the fact is, she released her medical records some time ago. And if you listen to my show last week, I just called a friend of mine, Dr. Robert Heisinger, who's an excellent internist pulmonologist, and we just dispassionately sat and evaluated the medical record that she had released. And based on the information that she has provided and her doctors have provided, we were gravely concerned, not just about her health care, not about her health, but her health care.
Why?
Well, it's hard for people to understand. Both of us concluded that if we were providing the care that she was receiving, we'd be ashamed to show up in the doctor's lounge. We'd be laughed out. She's receiving sort of 1950 level sort of care by our evaluation. So here's the basic facts. And by the way, before I launch into it, I don't know if you saw the New York Times this morning, but the science section has a front page article about the so-called Goldwater rule, where psychiatrists are being urged from an ethical perspective not to, quote, psychoanalyze political figures or people that they don't have a chance to evaluate. In that, they're saying that this thing needs to change. It may be even our ethical obligation to evaluate leaders. And there's a giant difference between, quote, psychoanalyzing somebody and looking at medical symptoms that are apparent as a result of people's behavior. That's very different than saying trying to derive deep notions about their psychological sort of constructs as opposed to, hey, that person looks depressed or that person looks manic.
Well, there are people calling for saying that Trump needs a mental exam.
Yeah, Karen Bass, the former state assembly speaker, wants legislation passed.
You can't look. You can't say he's a malignant narcissist because he maintains relationships. That's the only thing we can say at a distance. People flee malignant narcissists. They don't want to be around them.
Well, they do unless they have $1 billion because people will stay tethered. They will stay tethered to people who are paying them.
Children of malignant narcissists aren't well put together and aren't inclined to be around their fathers, believe me. But he does have pressured speech, and he has trouble editing his speech, and he seems to have boundless energy, and he says he only sleeps 4 hours a night. Well, I don't know Mr. Trump, but if I were adding that score up, I'd say, that's hypomania. Maybe he's got a little hypomanic stuff going on. And by the way, this article in the New York Times points this out too. All these things we say are not pure pejoratives. If somebody were the president, I kind of want them to be hypomanic because the problem is the risk is they could flip into mania or say things they shouldn't say, as we're sort of seeing here. But let's go back to Hillary. So we took a look at her record, and here are the basic facts. She had 2 episodes of what's called deep venous thrombosis, common problem, blood clots in the leg. She also has hypothyroidism, and she's being treated for hypothyroidism with something called Armour thyroid, which is very unconventional and something that we used to use back in the 60s. And both he and I went, that's weird. And by the way, wow, Armour thyroid sometimes has some weird side effects. Oh, well, okay. So she goes on Coumadin. That's weird because Coumadin really isn't even used anymore. Now we use Eliquis or Xarelto, things like this. Certainly somebody, the presidential candidate, would get one of the newer anticoagulants. Then she falls, hits her head, and as a complication of that has something called a transverse sinus thrombosis. This is an exceedingly rare clot. I've only seen one of these in my career, which is a clot in the collecting system for the cerebral spinal fluid. And it essentially guarantees that somebody has something wrong with their coagulation system. Well, she's had 2 clots, a transverse sinus thrombosis. What's wrong with her coagulation system? Has that been evaluated? And oh, by the way, Armour thyroid, associated rarely with hypercoagulability. So the very medicine the doctors are using may be causing this problem, and they're using an old-fashioned medicine to treat it. What is going on with her health care? It's bizarre. I got to tell you, look, maybe they have reasons, but at a distance, it looks bizarre.
We're talking with, of course, Dr. Drew, who is heard every day on this very radio station and on HLN on your TVs, and you can follow him on Twitter at Dr. Drew. The
talk radio station KABC out of Los Angeles, one of the biggest talk stations in the country, has Orwellianly censored an interview given by Dr. Drew where he admits that Hillary Clinton has brain damage and that he's gravely concerned about her health after he examined her medical records. The website has been scrubbed. Here it is in Google's cache. Dr. Drew speaks out on Hillary's health from KABC.com. But if you click on the link now, whoops, that page isn't found. Well, thankfully I have a screenshot of it because I did a video about it yesterday. And let me play you a clip from that interview right now.
What is going on with her health care? It's bizarre. It's dangerous and it's concerning. When she hit her head, she had to wear these prism glasses when she came out.
Right.
That is brain damage, and it's affecting her balance. Tell us a little more about that. That's profound. And then number 2, when they screened her for heart disease, again, they did an old-fashioned screen. It just seems like she's getting care from somebody that she met in Arkansas when she was a kid. And you got to wonder.
After making those statements and after this article was posted on KABC.com, news started circulating about Dr. Drew's statements, and so they decided to dump it down the memory hole. But Hillary Clinton and the liberal media say that it's just a conspiracy theory that she has any health problems. The New York Post says that Donald Trump is using a conspiracy theory attempting to derail Clinton's campaign. Vox, the liberal waste of a website, says that's a bonkers conspiracy theory about Hillary Clinton's health, even though multiple photos and multiple videos show that she can't even hold herself up and she has repeated coughing fits. And again, after Dr. Drew admits that after reviewing what records have been released, he concludes that she has brain damage. Of course, it's highly unlikely that all of her medical records have been released. What other damaging details is the Clinton campaign covering up?